Peace and blessings and keep up the lessons. You know who this is. This is your boy, but not your little boy, Crypto B-Boy coming at you. Yeah, I got some stuff for you and deal with some of the talk that it was in Joe Schmo's space the day before this. I think it was yesterday, if I'm correct. And you had T in there. You had Future. Scams came in there, was questioning. They were going back and forth on issues. This guy named Creo, and so forth. So I'm going to bring this to you and let you hear some of the. So I'm going to move around, probably clipping, because I could not gather up everything through clipping it and so forth. So that would put it in order. So I'm going to just be bouncing around. So just bear with me, stay with me, and give it your boy, but not your little boy, coming at you. Here we go. You ready? Are you ready? Let's get it. Alrighty then, I'm here. You know that, and I'm bringing it at you. Okay, so what we're gonna try to do is get in. I'm gonna be trying my best to stay in and not go on my tangent. I love to talk. It feels good to express myself about how I feel so passionate about this space. So anyway, and other things, whatever I speak about, I'm passionate on it, pretty much. I don't try to speak just off my hip because I want to be heard. I speak from my heart. So, and if you already know me, but if you don't know me, you can get to know me a little bit in the space. All right. So anyway, here, we'll let you listen to some of what was, and you'll hear in the background a little bit. I'm going to see if I can, where it can, the sound will be good enough. We'll see what we can do here. All right, so just listen in. This is Joe Schmo's space that was done yesterday, or I think yesterday, if I'm correct. And it was the topic was what's the FUD. So I'm going to touch on certain things there in that space. All right, so bear with me.
Right? Is it going to be available long term? See, the counter argument to that from skeptics is, well, they don't need to hold it for ODL, but it's like, do you think on-demand liquidity is going to be the only usage for it? I mean, seriously, and do we think that ODL stays the same? I mean, let's be honest here. David Schwartz's perspective behind ODL has changed as it's evolved. See, it's almost like people aren't realizing that technology grows and changes and evolves. Go ahead.
Let me ask your opinion on something. Do you think the utility of XRP will stop at the central bank level?
No.
Or will it be progressed down?
This is future.
I think it'll be progressed down. I think the IMF and the global treasury departments will benefit from it. I think central banks will benefit from it.
What about commercial bank?
I think that's Fat. What's his name? Fat Tony speaking, if I'm correct. It could be Futures, because I think Future was speaking at some point. But anyway, T was trying to break down some stuff dealing with, the liquidity issue about XRP, the amount of XRP being on the ledger or being put into, whether it's going to be held in banks or institutions. Do they have to hold it? All this stuff. And, the FUD, there's FUD around that. You understand what I'm saying? There's FUD around that the people who are actually FUDing it, even though they don't say they are, they try to say they're not. But then you can see that it is more or less FUD to create shilling or to give success to the shilling that they're doing, shilling to another project. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's listen on.
And I think commercial banks will. Now, I can't say this definitively, but we might be privy to a conversation that was had behind the scenes about commercial banks, potentially dipping their feet into the pot. So yes, I do absolutely unequivocally think that commercial banks will benefit from that. And that's all I'm going to say on that. And I think companies outside of banks and financial institutions will also benefit from it. And like I said, shout out to B. Rush. I wish he was in here. because he really gave a nice breakdown of that the other day. And
And those of you who may not know, B Rush is one of the admins of the Discord that T and me, myself, and others are part of, and he knows his stuff too. Shout outs to him too. So I go along with T because he pretty much goes in, he grinds and gets information and research like many of us do in the Discord and outside the Discord. Most of the XRP community are really pretty good researchers, but sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes we're right. Even T says that.
I think, what's his name? Nish, or Lord, I'm so bad with names. Yeah, they really went down the rabbit hole with that. And but outside of that, right? You bring up a good point about, well, is it going to be available? And then, like I said, the counter rebuttal is, oh, well, they don't need to hold it, so why would they wipe it off of the secondary exchanges? But here's the thing. If it's going to be used, it ain't going to reside on the exchanges if they're using it to facilitate utility elsewhere.
Right.
And that's what people aren't understanding. It's like, okay, let's say they don't buy and hold it, but it can't be there. I mean, what the hell? How are they going to use the XRP that's sitting on Binance, Bitrue, and Uphold to facilitate utility in the XRP ledger?
They have to buy it back. That's the only way. You know what I mean? Which they do. Ripple does this. The Ripple finance or finance section and so forth handles that. And, this is what has been spoken on. But people want to deny. They want to be in denial, or they want to reject it because it doesn't suit their position of, like, I think T says later, you'll listen to him. Some of the stuff you said, if I can capture it, because I'm going to be bouncing around, that people just so used to the way that they establish their life and certain decisions that they make. Sometimes they're not happy with it. They regret it. So they have to support that regret, and so they feel more comfortable. And it comes and more to get themselves to believe that what the decisions that they made when they either sold off all their assets from the assets that they think have no use case, or it's not going to go anywhere and so forth, or it's not going to get any higher in price and value, whatever. These people who are in these spaces talking this way and talking against XRP and the XRP ledger and so forth, right? And Ripple as a company, anyway. We'll try to move up to see. Let's see where he's at now.
Unless they stake it into an ODL pool.
Well, see, here's the thing. There's that, but here's the thing: is it going to be available as circulating supply once it's being used?
Well, I made a prediction this morning in a space that, just hypothetically speaking.
Yeah, this is future, and he hit some good point. I even did the same thing. I did a prediction in one of my videos along with, but I didn't say what he's going to say. I'll let you listen to what he's saying.
March 30th.
Yeah, he says March 30th. I say March, around March, because of my reasons, dealing with the patterns and everything coming together, piecing things together, and the ISO 222, going live in certain different projects of companies and institutions that are going to be using this technology to facilitate their, messaging standard and so forth, taking place of that and so forth, right? Anyway, DLT and like this. Okay.
There's a decision on the case. I think prior to the decision being made, whether it's a day or literally hours, the secondary market will be a desert.
I like that, and I believe that so. But let's move up to see here. Hold on for a second.
I think you're speaking more along the lines of the JPMs and the bigger people.
Scams entered the space, so I see him up there for what I remember. But I don't think he speaks just yet.
That they're going to want to generate and get their own pool of the asset to compete with, say, the XRPL or whatever. They're going to lose so much revenue through the lack of friction. They're going to have to conceive new ways of making money, and generating their own ODL pool will be one of them.
Cub just wrote to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. But listen to Joe Schmo. He's bringing up. I think he's bringing up a DM. So just hold on.
Cub, what the fuck is his name? Cub some shit. He just wrote to me. He said banks.
Oh, for liquidity providers? Scams, what's your take on that? Who are, in today's markets, liquidity providers and market makers?
Well, it depends on what asset you're talking about. I mean, for stocks, Citadel is the biggest liquidity provider for, equities and so forth. For currency, there's a couple different, for FX, in other words, there's a couple different major players. So it's the big Wall Street institutions.
Yep. It varies. And like Scams just said, Wall Street institutions. And this is why, look, I get the skepticism behind the asset, right? I know they're in a lawsuit. I know some things have been done and said. I know that, this is a tall order that Ripple is going after. This is not small by any means, what Ripple is trying to do and, what they're looking to accomplish with the XRP ledger. It almost looks impossible from the outside looking in. Now, I have my reasons why I think it's not. But with that being said, this goes back to the rhetoric where people are so quick to immediately shoot things down and say, well, institutions are never going to hold any of it. It would be.
And I agree. There's a lot of shooting down and people not trying to listen because they're so stuck on their path and on their direction of where they want to go. And, sometimes you have to take yourself out of your bubble to see the truth from the outside, because there's a lot of things that are going on from outside too that has truth to it. Okay, certain things you cannot take, some things that you can take. You just got to do your own due diligence and do research and go behind the people who are speaking at times too and ask them to bring their evidence and so forth. This is something that's nothing wrong you can do. It's nothing like, you're trying to come at them in argumentation. It doesn't always have to be an argument. It can be a respectable debate and both sides trying to bring some information out about what's actually taking place in the space, in whether it's XRP community and so forth, where we're dealing with this asset and knowing where it's going to go, and what it's going to do. Because you got the people who are skeptics that came outside of it. Now some of them they sold all their XRP and went into other projects, and then they have skepticism, a whole lot of it, and a bit too much.
Market makers and liquidity providers. And if you listen to what Scams just said, it's made up of big Wall Street institutions. So, who's to say that certain powerhouse institutions wouldn't serve as market makers or liquidity providers for XRP? Now, am I saying that definitively? Well, no, right? Because none of this stuff has happened yet, all right? But I think completely negating the potential of it happening is, I don't want to say irresponsible, I would say premature.
I would say it's irresponsible and premature at the same time, because the premature is clear. Things haven't happened. There's not enough, actual happenings to bring us to say, okay, we have enough more information to go on and say that this is going to take place and this is what's going on. But the irresponsible part is that you're putting it out there prematurely and it hasn't even gotten to that level. So now you're getting people to think this way, and then they're not going to, they may not go that way. It's just like the predictions of the price movement going up. This is not, I don't consider it to be good on a regular basis. It's every now and then somebody want to ask you what do you think, and then you come like T and people like him and come and say, well, this is my opinion. I'm not sure, and this is not definitive, but this is how I see it because of these certain types of patterns, or these certain types of things that are going on in the space, or going on with the asset and so forth. And you got people charting and all that type of stuff, and they seeing patterns, like this. But and also the movements and you see the whales and these top people who are buying and investing in it and taking and buying up all this XRP. These types of proofs of those types of actions. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? But like T makes a good point, and that's clear. But I add to it, I say responsibility too. It's not responsible for you be coming out, but sometimes you following with shilling to other projects or trying to advise about other projects. Now, there's one thing, you open up a space and you advise it directly on another project, and you talk about its perspectives, and you talk about its potentials, and you talk about its opportunity. That's one thing. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you start putting down another project so that you can direct people to the project that you feel is the best, this is shilling. That's my opinion, and the definition. You can, any other person, if you want to comment in the comment space, you can say other than if you want. But let me let it go a little more.
Right. Just like people predicting that Bitcoin is going to zero is premature. You don't know what it's going to do. And you don't know who's going to benefit, from that price going up, or who's going to see the value in it, and how the market's going to behave. And
I agree. So let's push it up a little bit. I want to get to the parts when they deal with, I guess, this guy named Creo, and it's important because it breaks into how a person who's more, and I'm just using this my opinion. I think he's a maximalist, but not a what you call ruthless, real, just hardcore, hard, type of maximalist that talks totally negative about other projects and networks and blockchain networks, and says that they're all nothing and this and that and S coins and whatever, which other people say, ish coins, and I'm not going to say the word because I don't curse. So basically, but that's what he does. What he was going on there. So let's look into and see if we can find that.
Point of proof of work now.
Well, Creo,
Hold on.
I said this earlier. I was like, man, I feel like people are angry, right? I truly believe that. I think guys like me, Baggins, Joe, Future, G, etc. We're investors, and we've been around for a little bit, and
And that's the point. I said this in my other video prior to this, that you see that we are investors. That's where we should have our mindset to say, okay, when you invest in something, that which you invested in, especially if you don't have proper knowledge about how you're investing and how to approach your investment with taking, risk management type of maneuvers, being aware of the market, various factors that you should be using to be successful as an investor. An investor, you can invest in assets, stocks, bonds, whatever it is, commodities. As an investor, you need to understand that person or being. This is who you are. This is what you are in the space or in the markets that you enter in. Okay, so you have to know this. You can't be somebody who's like, okay, I'm just going to buy some coins because I want to make money, or as they say, money grabber. You know what I'm saying? So money grabbers, they should know that they better come in, grab the money like traders. Traders are like money grabbers. They come in, they timing the markets. They know a good time to come in and enter and get in and grab, and then come on out before it's too late and or get a loss. That's how they do, especially day traders. I mean, it's a daily thing. That's why they call it day trading. But of course, I don't advise it for anybody, especially if you don't know what you're doing. You can lose easier there than even hodling or holding on to your money, and you invest in that for a long term, right? So, or be passive, and then you diverse your portfolio, whatever different types of cryptos you have, and not even speaking about all the other types of assets to invest in, So anyway, let's go on, and I agree with T. People are angry,
Well, with me, scams and back. when
Yo,
me scams and baggins, we're techies, so we know that things are going to take time, and I think
Mhm.
the projection and the anger and the uncertainty is coming from folks, man, who
And that's basically he was saying FUD.
they don't they're not getting this, man.
They're
And like
fed
I
up.
said,
They're fed
yeah,
up, man.
and you
yo,
know what,
Oh,
and I don't.
And see, if FUD is a state of mind, it's not necessarily that people are fudding the people, but it's a state of mind. So the people who are actually doing and speaking in the manner that brings about FUD, a mental state of FUD, then this is bad too. They're not that much better than the people who are losing doubt. I mean, people who are becoming, with through fear and uncertainty, then comes doubt, and then they want to pull out. Then they want to, come out of their bags and go and move somewhere else to another project by someone maybe shilling to another project, or they see something else and they think it's better. But if not that, they totally get out of the space of cryptocurrency investment as a whole and just say, no, I'm done. Like plenty have done. Unfortunately. So, but there, let's go for. And when I was in a space and I was talking in the space with cryptocurrent, aka Crypto Rick, the guys was trying to come at me and act like I didn't know what the heck I was talking about. But that's cool because I'm not a techie, then I don't know what I'm talking about. Techies don't consist of the crypto space only. There's people who are finance people who have history in business, different skill sets, different professionals coming from different areas into the space. And they bring value with that which they know, especially business people like myself, especially people who know finance, who are financially literate, doesn't and they come together and merge. That's what fintech means: finance and technology merging together. So that's what's going on in the crypto space. People forget this, or they don't know this, they don't understand it. So they be in this like, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about because he's not talking about the technology, he's not talking about the utility, how it functions, how it goes, how this. No, I'm talking about basis of who you are. Are you an investor? And I was telling these guys that. And I was saying, are you a person that what you're dealing with is there's gonna be losses. That business period. Ripple, and you're referring to Ripple and trying to take away and defame them, defame their credibility, and saying credibility and saying that they're scammers and this and like this because this is happening. These negatives are going on. They're in a case that SEC has clearly showed that they have nefarious acts in their actions with what we call today it has been called from a few months back with the Ethereum issue. We call it the ETHgate, right? And then the Hinman emails and so forth, and giving open door ticket to go right in, and even Bitcoin to go in without being considered a security, right? And not taken to court by the SEC. So because of that, and there's a lot of people standing on the outside, don't even want to touch XRP. And then those who are the outside staying on there to wait because they know the case is going to be over eventually and there's going to be some clarity. And they're going to come in droves. Like your man Future said, when that time comes and even before the decision is done, a little bit before, those people who have a little more knowledge of what's going on, they know all the plans that have been set, all part of the plan. They know what it is, and they have ahead of time information. They're gonna come in and buy. I mean, the secondary market is going to be a desert, meaning it's not going to be barely anything there because they're going to buy it all out, and that's just the opinions of the people who know from we see the patterns, So let's continue.
Fully blame them.
no, and then things like yesterday, you get another kick in the face.
Well, see, when I saw that, I was like, okay, so the Sunshine meeting, man, they've been that's routine for the SEC.
every
And
Tuesday.
yeah, look, man, I work for the government. Like, dude, they do that all
Yeah,
the
let's
time.
push up.
They just want.
Because you mentioned the bank, and we got Creo in here.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry I'm a little late. listening to a little bit of what you were talking
I'm
about,
trying to turn him
but
up.
I'm hoping we are realizing what's going on right now in the political sphere. Why Bitcoin?
This is Creo, and this is the conversation these guys break into, and get a little bit of debating going on between this guy named Creo on Bitcoin and it being the all from his position, his perspective. So let's just listen.
Bitcoin is so important, and why it's always been number one.
Talk to us, Creel. Let us know what's up.
Right. So I know it sounds like a lot of us are nervous about what the SEC and the government are about to announce. I'm just now getting to internet service. So did they announce anything today?
I haven't seen anything. Have you guys?
No, I didn't see any announcements today. They're patting their own backs for what they said yesterday. That's all.
Okay. But are we starting to realize the significance of Bitcoin and proof of work now?
Well, Creel, I'll say this, all right, and it's really me reiterating it. I never thought that Bitcoin was bad. What I did think is that for certain institutional utilities, that they probably wouldn't go with it. But in terms of it being a valuable asset, Bitcoin has already proven that.
It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. I want you to understand.
And I agree on that. Many agree. People who've been in the space for a while and have some experience know from where cryptocurrency started, it was Bitcoin. You understand what I'm saying? So it doesn't make any sense to say it's going to be gone. It's going to go to zero and so forth. That's not enough proof and evidence on that. There's not enough proof and evidence on that happening or it was going to ever happen. So many people like us do not say this. And people who say that they lack knowledge. They do. And it's clear.
Understand that. I am not a Bitcoin skeptic. I just think that there's certain utility itches that distributed ledgers and their assets can scratch that they may not want to use Bitcoin for. I mean, if you look at some of the arguments.
And that's why I stay neutral. I'm a neutral person, and even you'll hear that in here. Some of these guys, they speaking as on the lines of being neutral, and they don't get into this tribalism or mentality of being cliquish, and you stay in this group, this cryptocurrency project, I'm in this one, and everyone else is nothing, has no relevance to the crypto space of it being progressive and having some great prospects in the future of innovation and expansion all over the world to being just like we see the internet today, and this is why we call it the internet of value, right?
Now that are coming out regarding CBDC trials, people are already saying, well, they're going to want, public or private environments. Now, I've always kind of been a proponent of the public-private era.
Go forward, push forward.
It's not built for that.
A store of value. I mean, it's like T.
And that's Future saying it's a store of Bitcoin is a store of value. Plenty of us were saying that. People who hadn't probably even got into XRP yet. I know myself included, because before I became XRP, hypothetically, I invested in XRP. I was hypothetically invested in Bitcoin, okay, and then I had other cryptocurrencies that I invested in hypothetically, and without having to go over the name, but it's plenty, and I have a portfolio still. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing new, but people that are probably coming into the space new, or they just have a one set mind to be focused on only whatever project they're in, that they stay as like on a tribalistic level, a groupish, cliquish level in their mentality and how they perceive themselves to, a part of that community. As far as what we should be perceiving ourselves as part of the community is that we're a part of investors in that community of this particular digital currency, and then you go into, like me, I can go into Shibu Nu community. I have invested, hypothetically, and she knew. So I can go in there and say and talk and listen, and because I want to know what's going on with my investment. That's the prerogative, and that's what the right to any investors should have to know about that which they invested in. So if you have a portfolio, you diversified it, you should know where your money is going and how it's doing and how it's growing, if it's any growth. Are you getting any returns in that investment? That's just simple, basic, investment knowledge.
Said it's proven.
Yeah, and you can't argue that. Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only two that are fully proven in this market to go ballistic. And
right, and he says, and I'm gonna just move on because I want to say real quick. He says, so you get it correct. Ethereum and Bitcoin was given the free pass to go forward. XRP wasn't given that chance. It was stifled as it is through the court case. So we know that. Okay, let's get that straight. All right, let's move on.
Too slow.
Well, the Lightning Network is not using XRP.
And this guy Creo says the
how
Lightning
efficient
Network
is Lightning? Now, Creo, I gotta ask you, Creo, because I saw something about.
Creo says the Lightning Network is faster than XRP. So
I don't know if it was in El Salvador or if it was in it was in one of those countries. What happened down there with Lightning? And I'm not.
And CT is trying to be, I don't like to say devil advocate, but he's being in that same terms that they use. They say the devil. I don't like to use devil, but he's advocating for or like playing like, okay, what do you think about? That's how he does, about this and how you perceive that if this is like this and you feel this way. To try to get you to think and see another side of it, right? And he's really clever in his way, but he's trying to get this guy to know, okay, what happened in El Salvador, that area where something went out, and there was other scenarios that other people brought about the imperfections of Bitcoin, and it's not to say that they're bringing this to say, okay, Bitcoin is no good, it has no value, it has no usage, no use case. It does. But only the levels of where it goes and what it is capable of doing. It has been capable of doing. But the things that it has too much problems, then those problems are there. Just like they say, even with XRP Ledger, these people who are critical of XRP Ledger, every cryptocurrency, because nothing is perfect. No business is perfect. No business product or service is perfect. You go to the store and you find stuff on the counters, on the shelves that are imperfect products. Come on, man. See, that's because I come from a line of understanding and experience in business. I may not be a top successful business person, but I know what it takes to get there, and I know how to start. I did my own startup with my wife. We were partners, and I had other people that I did business maneuvers with and tried to get into investing in business opportunities. They didn't go too well because some certain professionality and certain things were not there, and risk management was not there. So people, everybody went their own way. Sometimes we took L's, we took losses. So you learn through experience, and even Robert Kiyosaki, and these are people that I follow. And Raul Paul, and some of these guys that have gone into the big business areas. Chris Gardner, I listened to his video in his seminar, made one famous one. These guys talking about business and talking about the pits and the falls, the ups and the downs. Okay, but investing is a segment, or it's a aspect of business. People who are business people are investors. So we learn this. We come from that. So some of these people come in here and in these spaces, let alone the spaces just talking in on a social media level, but people who are just texting and going through and sending messages and getting into trying to bring out all this stuff, and they come without clear proof, and that they don't have the proper understanding that you're going to take some lows, you're going to take some blows, and your project is not perfect. So Bitcoin is not perfect. This is what they was trying to put out. I want to get past this debate. There's some things that they said.
I can't say it definitively.
for use, kind of like the internet, right? Everybody on the globe uses www.net, right, .com. The same thing is going to happen with Bitcoin. There's no other reason to use another network.
Well,
You see what he's saying? So he's just like just that without there's no other way just to use but Bitcoin. You know, and this is what the argument or the debate came out with him and the other speakers, and everybody brought their points, and their points was of great value, especially those who spoke and tried to clarify that Bitcoin is not going to be the only one used in this space by, you know, the people who are going to bring the value up into these assets because of their use cases. You know, so let's go forward. See, time is running out. I know that.
they've been around, but they're not being courted as a payment rail.
Because we don't know who created it. It's math. It's science. Like, it's H2O. I don't need to know who created water. I can look at it under a microscope and know that it's fucking water.
Yeah, I got a quick question. Don't know.
But
The answer is it's not true.
Yeah, it's not true, but even if so, that wallet can't control the network. It doesn't matter who controls the supply because it doesn't affect the monetary policy of the network.
Well,
Well, that's the thing. You'd have to count on it being repurchased immediately, like to sustain that market, right? I mean, if type of guy, right? Now I get what you're saying about, you know, the Lightning Network being able to offer these solutions, but here's the thing: if there is, here's my question, right? If we're going to go the central bank route, who is going to build private infrastructure that's affiliated with Bitcoin and Lightning for these central banks, and have they already started doing it?
Oh yeah, it's already out there. There's public and private second and third layer solutions specifically for CBDCs.
Now he's talking about secondary solutions, secondary, third layer solutions, right? And these people taking and partaking on a private level, and that Bitcoin is being used and utilized, and they're building these third layer projects on top of the Bitcoin network. That is almost similar, but the functionality of the speed and the convenience in comparison with XRP, and I'm not shilling XRP, I'm just putting it straight. The XRP ledger has capabilities that takes it beyond what the Bitcoin is doing in that aspect. And then just the other product, you got Ripple Net, you know. So there's different available features and options there that Ripple provide, that the XRP ledger provides. The ODL is major, and people keep, you know, downplaying it, and they don't realize there's scalability there. If you don't know this already, and it can be taken to another level, just like they took from proof of stake with Ethereum and took it to its proof of work, from proof of work to proof of stake with their upgrade, right? Same with XRP. Then Bitcoin, they did a so forth, like, I guess I don't know if it's a fork, but it's more like an upgrade to me, and I could say that of the Lightning network, right? But is it as efficient as the XRPL? If you're comparing it, the guy, and I'm saying this to Creo and others like that, right? If you're going to bring comparisons, then make sure that they are totally clear that they can go and do, or not just competition, but outdo the other project. Okay, so let's go on. I'm going to try to go on to this other guy. Hold on for a second. He made some good points about the FUD issue.
Okay.
JP Morgan has been around, what, 150 years, right?
Yeah.
Bitcoin has been around 13, 14 years, and Bitcoin has already doubled J.P. Morgan's market cap?
Creole, man. Look, all right. All that aside, who do you think's really calling the shots here? Okay, look, man. You're talking about J.P. Morgan. All right, I get what it looks like.
What for the banks now, too.
And then he was wanting to say, don't stop booty clapping for the banks. You know, this is what Creole even brought in one of the spaces that they had prior to this, and he got the name and you know his nickname now that Joe Schmo gave him, the booty clapper guy or whatever he said. You know, talking about how people booty clap for the banks, meaning in essence trying to, you know, advocate the banks and say, oh, the banks are great, and they showing off about the banks and how much power they have and so forth like this. You know, I understand that, but the reality is the reality. Social order is in place. Social order is in place. You cannot change social order. And you know, I'm gonna have to stop because I've been going too long. But my main point is with the FUD and issues that are going on. And maybe I'll do another video to let you listen to the other guy that spoke on what I'm saying. You know, and I've been saying this. I've been trying to make this clear that people are stuck in their bubbles, and they're trying to create a commune bubble kind of thing, and all these different types of, you know, sub communities and whatever within the communities of a society. But if you're gonna be in society, modernized, you know, social order of things where, you know, you have government, you have judicial systems, you have all these different infrastructures and systems. If you're going to be a part of that, you're not going off grid, or you're not going to do a DAO, a DAO, which is a, you know, decentralized autonomous organizations or corporation. They also say, if you're not going to do something like that and try to start that, and that y'all in that community, whether you do it on a communal basis, where it's like you get buy land and then you're all off grid, and then y'all grow your own food, and you have your own stores, maybe even if you can do that, depending on where you're at, because there's a lot of guidelines and laws and rules and regulations depending on the state. If you're in America, we're talking about America, let alone the other countries. Everybody in other countries have their own positions and how they want to give people the freedoms to do these types of things and live without having to succumb to social order of the powers that be in that who governs the people today, as we know, modernized. Maybe back in the main times, you can have kingdoms, and those kingdoms can be autonomous. Those kingdoms can live until somebody comes and conquers them with swords and arrows and kills them, and then, or take prisoners or whatever, and just takes them over in that land and area, right? That's what goes on. It still goes on today, almost. You know, it's happened to Africa. You know, it's happened to India. It's happened to different countries. Imperialism. What do we know? Okay, but that's different from you living within the society, and now you're there, and you have to succumb to it, or else you're going to be pressed against and pressured, and the people are going to come at you, and the system is going to come down on you. Come down on you hard, and they may leave you alone if you're not affecting everybody else, to gearing everybody else up to do the same thing. You know, so you have to be communal. You got to stay in the guidelines where you're not committing any crimes within your commune, because they're going to come after you for that too. So if you're going to be still a part of the society and staying in societies like this, then you have to deal with what is going to be, who's in charge, like your man T says. So that's it pretty much on that. And all the FUD is doesn't make sense. You know, your mind, you got to focus your mind to say, okay, am I an investor, and I came into this for this reason, and now I got to just stay with it, or pull out and see that there's something better for me and take my risk management and manage the risk there. If am I going to do better there, or I'm going to do still well here, and it has a better chance, or I have a chance still and stay right here, or keep some of my money here that's not going to be too much of a financial risk on my money and my budget that I provide for my household living and my family and so forth. If you have a family or if you're on your own, what you have to survive with, right? The money you need for you, or you want to be able to have money to do things that you want to enjoy your money, right? That's what we're trying to do too. Enjoy the life, not just always live check to check, pay bills, this, that, but enjoy some freedom, have freedoms, right? So you got to know that are you able to spend this amount of money? DCA, dollar cost averaging, is one of the aspects that help people who want to budget in their investing into their portfolio or into one thing if they're doing one thing. But most we know you should be investing in a diverse way, having a portfolio, other good standing cryptos that have use case, that have the prospects of ability to go far in the innovation. And you know what I'm saying? So you want to invest in those. Just like stocks, you want to invest in a company that that has longevity or is doing something with a product that they're making plenty of money on it, and its shares, plenty of enough shares to be able to be paid off to the people. And you know what I'm saying? And to make sure that they have insurance, of course, and they got to have insurance to be a stock. That's the requirements to become public. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, I thank y'all for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and stay with your brother. And if you listen to this video and think it's too long, I know it's 40, almost 50 minutes. Stay with it to the time you can. Put it in the playlist. Come back later. Watch the rest. It's not hard, And like I said, don't forget to subscribe. It doesn't cost any money. It's not hard. Give it your brother, and there's more videos to come. I'm trying my best. I work a job. I do the fathering, and I do the husband's work. So I'm not always able to get these videos out like I would like to for you guys. I have another channel that I've been doing before this channel, Brother Talib Show, and I've been trying to go over there and do my videos that I do, which is more on social level and my belief as well. But hey, stay with me. That's all I can say. All right. Till next time. Thanks, and I hope you benefited from this video. Click the like button. Don't forget to click the like button. Subscribe, like I said again, and share the video. Also, comment in the comment space and what you think, and any questions or any comments that you might want to throw. And I appreciate it. Thanks. Till next time. This is your boy, but not your little boy, Crypto B-Boy, coming at you. Peace.